Hi there. If you're a mum and you're thinking that perhaps the way you're working at the moment, your job doesn't fit well around your family, perhaps you're thinking that starting a business might be another option. So this video is going to look at which businesses fit well around a family. First of all, I'll introduce myself. My name's Helen Lindop. I'm the co-author of the book Start a Family Friendly Business, which you can get on Amazon. And I'm also a blogger, or the blogger, at businessplusbaby.com. And that's a blog that's dedicated to helping mums of small children start family-friendly businesses. So first of all, why start a family-friendly business? Well, it gives you more work options. Quite often mums find that their only options are to work full-time, which means they don't see a lot of their children and can pay a lot out in childcare, or to get a part-time job, and they can be hard to find and often poorly paid. You can reduce childcare costs because you can have less childcare and, for example, work in the evenings. That means you get to spend more time with your children doing the things you want to do. And your hours are more flexible, so you could spend the most of the day with your children and perhaps work in the evenings instead of working 9 to 5 as employment would want you to. So which businesses are family friendly? Well, there isn't really any simple answer to that. It really does depend on you and your family and what you want from the business. Some lend themselves better to working around families, which is what we're going to be looking at in this video. But here's the things to consider. It really does depend on your childcare. Now I'm lumping school in this as well, which isn't strictly right, but we won't worry about that too much. So a mum who has kids at school from, let's say, 9 till 3 is going to be in a very different situation from somebody who has a baby and very little childcare at all. So it really depends on how much time you've got away from your children and when those hours actually are. There are a few businesses you can run with your children around, but not many, and quite often you'll need to spend some time doing admin or marketing or phone calls or something that you will need child-free time to do. It also depends on your aims. Maybe you're looking to make a little bit of money each month to top up the family budget, or maybe you're looking to replace a proportion of the income you had when you were working full-time before you had children. And those are quite different situations, and you would need to plan those out quite differently. Depends on your skills and interests. Now, you may sort of decide that being a web designer would be a perfect work-at-home business for you, but if you've got no talent with designing websites, you're not going to get very far, and it's going to be very frustrating. So you've got to take into account, what are you interested in, what do you enjoy doing, what skills do you already have, and what skills would you like to develop as time goes by. And of course, all of this really does depend on you having a market for what you're offering. So the perfect way of working around your family is not going to be perfect if you're selling something that nobody wants. So of course, market research and having a good product or a good service that people are prepared to pay for it is absolutely critical. Okay, so let's look at some businesses that work particularly well around a family. So we'll start with business services. This might be a surprising one, but there are a lot of people out there doing this kind of thing. So I'm thinking virtual assistants. So they would be people doing, roughly speaking, administration type work, although it can be quite broad and can go across to marketing, event planning, very wide variety of jobs fall under virtual assistant these days, but basically you're a self-employed administrative person. Copywriter, particularly doing writing for websites, bookkeeping, graphic designer, web designer, and marketing. And small businesses all over have a need for these services, but perhaps don't need a dedicated person to do that all the time in their business, so they just want to buy someone in or buy a few hours a month to do that work, or maybe as a one-off project, for example, a new design for their website, or perhaps a new logo if you're a graphic designer. Or perhaps they need an extra pair of hands at a busy time. And then very popular online businesses. Online stores, so gift shops, any kind of online store really, but you can also have websites such as blogs or listings websites which are providing information, so there's not a sort of physical product that's bought and posted out to the client there. Very popular because they are so flexible. You could be working at midnight if you chose to. For online stores, you do need to obviously provide good customer service. So if somebody places an order, then you need to get that out to them as soon as possible. So that it's not totally flexible, but there's a lot more flexibility there than there would be in a bricks and mortar shop, for example. So again, very, very popular choice. Much cheaper to set up than a traditional shop as well, although there are some costs associated with building a website, of course, and buying stock. Inventing a new product and bringing it to market, that's the one that you will mostly see if you look at television reports or in magazines or newspapers. You'll often see mumpreneurs, articles written around mumpreneurs saying about how they saw a gap in the market for a product, they went out and invented it, and so on. And there are a lot out there doing that, but it's not for everybody, of course. We're not all inventors. And also, it's compared to other business types, it really can be quite a long haul because you've got to invent your product, find supplier, find somebody to produce it, market it, sell it, and at the end of all that, you may not even have a success. So, it's the most visible type of business for parents, the one that you will see in the news. It's the one that potentially could bring you in the most money if you really do well, but it's also the most risky as well because you've got to put in money up front and you don't know whether it's going to be a success or not. So that's the kind of slightly scary one that people think, I can't start a business because I'm not an inventor and I don't have an idea for a great product. Don't worry. Most people aren't inventors. There's plenty of other things you can do as well. But if you do want to go ahead and do it, fantastic, good luck. There are baby and child businesses as well. So I'm thinking children's party entertainers, preschool group leaders, antenatal teachers, and so on. And a lot of people find that when they become parents, that sparks an interest in children that maybe they didn't have so much before, and they want to work with children. Sometimes people work with, or mums have worked with children before, and they just want to change direction slightly to have a more family-friendly way of working. The good thing about baby and child related businesses is that you're working with parents, so if you're making phone calls and your own children are shouting in the background, you're probably going to get a more understanding response than if you're not working with parents. So that can be good. And also you are naturally mixing with your target audience because you're going to be mixing at parent and toddler groups, and you can talk about your own children, so you're already living in that baby and child world, if you like. Then there's health and fitness, so things like complementary sport, beauty therapies, and being a fitness instructor are all pretty flexible and lend themselves well to working in the evenings. If you have a partner that works 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, you can often do this kind of work in the evenings and weekends, or you can fit it in school hours perhaps as well. There's teaching and personal development, so personal tuition, so teaching maths or English to children outside school hours. If you've got a background or probably need a degree in that subject, but not necessarily, and also life coaching, perhaps business coaching. Then there are service businesses. I'm thinking pet sitting, ironing, gardening, the kinds of services that people need in their personal lives and around the home. The nice thing about these is that you can go out, do the work this afternoon and get paid this afternoon. There isn't the long waiting process of marketing, buying stock, selling the stock and so on that you can get with other sorts of businesses. Although if you want a steady stream of clients, you would need to be more organised about your marketing than that, of course. And then there's sales of all types. Many people make money selling on eBay, although again that takes more sort of planning and organisation and thought to actually make an income from it than it would simply selling kids stuff that you no longer need on eBay. And there are also a lot of direct selling schemes and party plans out there. So you would work for a company on a self-employed basis, and you would perhaps arrange a party, and you would be selling maybe children's products, clothes, books, cookware, household products, cleaning products, and so on. Things like Avon is a direct selling plan. You may have heard of Usborne Books as a direct selling plan or a party plan. Betterware, that kind of thing. The nice thing about those is that it's very easy to get started because the product, the catalogue, the marketing materials are already created for you and are provided by the company you're working for. So you need really no experience at all of business to get stuck in there and get started. And it's really a question of buying a startup pack and away you go. The slight downside of those is quite often to make an income from it, you need to recruit a team and you need to do a lot of selling. So you would need to spend quite a lot of time and effort to do that. If you wanted to just again make enough money to top up the family budget by doing the occasional party here and there, that's quite a different approach to making an income. But some people do extremely well at it and really enjoy themselves, and you can sometimes take your children along to parties if it's a child-friendly product. So thanks for listening to that. If you would like to know more about family-friendly businesses, and that includes how to decide whether they're for you and how to decide whether they will actually make you the income that you want, you need to take a look at my book, co-written with Antonia Chitty, called Start a Family Friendly Business, and that's available on Amazon right now. And if you'd like any more information, please do pop over to my blog. That's www.businessplusbaby.com. I'd be happy to see you there. Thank you very much.